Hello. Greetings. Good morning. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Rashida. Chris, it's becoming one of my favorite.
Grand
Oh,
rising,
to you too. To you too.
grand rising to everyone.
Mm,
Blessings.
thank you. Welcome this morning. You will want a journal, something you can write with, paper, pens, something you can write with, and you might want to use your cell phone or laptop for the work today. So if you prefer to write on something digital, you can go ahead and do that. And that's true of anyone who's connecting on Facebook Live as well. And that's about it. That's what you need to know for participating this morning. Oh, I see we have a few other people joining us. Teresa, Adam, welcome, welcome. We will start by being upright for a meditation this morning. So get yourself set up for that and journal, and pen or pencil, something to write with later on.
Peace and blessing, Sister Ash, Coach Ash, and
Welcome.
everyone on the Woo Nation. Glad to be here.
Welcome, Teresa. Welcome, Adam.
Peace and blessings, Ash. How you doing this morning?
So good. So good. You?
I'm good. Every day is a good day. Every day that I wake up with the Wolf family is always.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. And again, welcome everyone. Welcome. And those of you who are on Facebook too, welcome. We want a pen, pencil, notebook for today. We will be going into breakout rooms and doing some work together as a community today. And we'll have a seated meditation this morning. So make sure you're somewhere you can experience that, some kind of a comfortable seated position. Welcome, Chrissy. Welcome, Wonja. Thank you for being here this morning. Welcome, Teresa. Teresa, there we go. I thought you might be on two devices with us.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to this morning's Wake Up Everybody session, opening a world of grace, opening a world of grace. And it's part 3. So this is the 3rd time I've had the opportunity to be with you all inside this conversation, and we've had the chance to get together and create and explore and inquire and question and look inside of this conversation. It's been a complete joy and privilege up to this point, and it will continue to be so today. So I thank you everyone who's here in the Zoom room, and I thank you everyone this is reaching on Facebook Live as well for tuning in today. And in today's session, we're going to revisit some of the ideas we've gotten to already. So again, this is part 3. So we'll look back to part 1 and part 2. We'll bring ourselves present to some of what we've already explored. And then from that foundation, we'll deepen where we're headed. And really, really examine this idea of bringing the whole of life into grace. What if the whole of life was in grace, like a presence or an experience that we could have with us every day, each day, every day throughout the day, with no exception? What would that take? What would that be like? So we're going to begin today's session with a breath practice. As I've created with you all being on the line in the past, my background is in yoga. So in my training and my education and my profession comes from the world of yoga. So I'm a 500-hour experienced registered yoga teacher. Good morning, Marilyn. Um, and I have a 200-hour and a 500-hour yoga teacher training that I deliver on an annual basis. And my study of yoga began when I was about 16 years old in high school, reading the sacred texts of East India, the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, some of the original texts in India that led to the formation of how yoga became formed in India. So we're going to actually begin this morning by bringing ourselves into grace, taking on a practice that will allow us to experience grace ourselves right here where we sit. So we're going to begin today with what's called an extended exhalation practice. And so to complete this practice, I'm asking that you come into a seated position. And you can pick what that seat is. My recommendation is you either sit in a cross-legged position. So if you're on the floor or you're on a bed or something like that, that you're upright in a cross-legged seated position. And that if you're in a chair, you can come to have your legs at a 90-degree angle and your feet planted firmly on the floor. And I find it's best to have my back pressed up against something as opposed to having my back, just being away from the back of a chair and generating my own posture, because it supports the muscles of my back so they're not constraining at all inside of this practice. So we're coming into a upright seated position where we can be present, alert, and even a little bit relaxed. And if it feels good for you, you can come and close the eyes. And if you prefer to keep the eyes open, you can have a soft gaze in front of you, just maybe a couple feet in front of you. I'm going to close the eyes. That's what feels good for me. And to start here, just bring the attention to the breath. Notice your breathing. It's early. This may be the first time that you're connecting with your breath today. maybe the first time that you're connecting with your physical body in any way today. Just becoming present to it. It's here. You have a physical body, you have a breath. Your breath is moving. Breath allows you to move into the next moment and the next moment and the next moment. And just notice, see if you can notice without changing anything, the natural pace of your breath. Just make a note of the natural pace of your breath and experience that here for a few moments. You may notice that the pace, the depth of your breathing changes as you move your awareness to it. Oh, interesting. It's cool. Nothing to do about that, just notice it. And see if you can, as you're just feeling the natural breath here, feel into the deepest spaces your breath is touching. So maybe your breath moves deep into your chest cavity. Maybe your breath moves even as far down as the lower belly. Feel into the deepest experience you have of your breath. Now, without changing anything, we're going to add a count to our breathing. So we won't make the breath any longer, the inhales any longer, the exhales any longer or shorter. We'll just add a count of 4 to the in breath and a count of 4 to the out breath. So whatever your in breath is, however long, count 1, 2, 3, 4 for the length of the in breath, spacing the numbers out evenly. And the same on your exhale. Now, as you breathe, at the very top of the inhale, we're going to add 1 brief pause. And at the bottom of the exhale, we'll do the same, adding 1 brief pause. This pause at the top and bottom of your inhale and exhale. This can be as long or as short as you like. And the opportunity here is just to notice, simply to notice the space between an inhale and an exhale. Now, on your next exhale, let's begin extending our exhales by 2 counts. So our inhales are to 4, and our exhales now are to 6. Continue to practice in this way for a few moments. On your next exhale, we're now going to take this even further. The next time you exhale, keep exhaling until you've pressed all the air out of the body. Really feel like you're empty. And then just naturally allow the breath to come in. Don't do anything with the breath on the in-breath. Just all you focus on is pressing the air all the way out of the body. And then once the air is all the way out of the body, just let the breath rush back in. A few more deep breaths in this way. Good. You can release that practice. Allow the breath to return to normal and just breathing normally again. And notice anything that there is to notice. Any difference in the breath? Notice any difference in the body? Notice any difference in your mood? Just take stock for a moment of what impact does that practice have? What impact did that practice have? And as you're ready, you can begin to slowly blink the eyes open, become aware of the room you're in, become aware of the Zoom room, kind of return yourself to this space. Get yourself ready to continue in this conversation. And we can take the slide down for a moment. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for that practice. I'd like to hear from 1 or 2 people. What was that like for you? What was that breath practice like for you? What did you notice? What do you want to share about it? What impact did it have? And I'll probably keep rephrasing the question until a couple of hands go up. That's usually what I do. But a couple of people just share, what was that breath practice like for you? It's an opportunity both to share about the practice itself, but also to be in communication for the first time today, of which there will be many opportunities. Sweetness, please.
Grand Rising.
Mm,
So the control comes to my mind.
mm,
So if I'm not putting attention on my breath, like we just did, then I don't even think about it and I breathe anyway. Yes?
yes.
Right. So, however, actually, right now um, in this body, there's pain in the body, right? So while I was doing the breathing, a lot of the pain is in the back of the neck,
Mm,
in the spine area, right?
mm,
So I was breathing and enjoying the time away from the pain,
mm, mm,
right? And so,
mm,
um, and I held my breath. I held my breath in between the inhale and the exhale. I held it. I held it. And I'm challenged with breath, been for many, many years. So that was really interesting for me to put all that concentration and attention on, how much going in, the count going out. And yeah, that was my experience just now with giving energy and attention to breath and then understanding that I have a degree of control with my breath. So I feel good. I feel good. I'm probably gonna do some more of that later
mm,
to awaken that area, my lungs,
mm.
my upper respiratory. Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for practicing so earnestly and allowing yourself to be available for what you saw. It's very poignant what you pointed to. There's an impact of putting attention on this aspect of our lives that happens automatically until we put our attention on it. And then once we put our attention on it, it ceases to be as automatic. And we get to adjust. In yoga, we call that kind of breath work restraining. We restrain the breath in some areas so that it can release more fully in other areas. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing what you got out of that practice. It's great. Chris.
Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising.
Hello.
I love this breathing thing. Some people may know here in the Wu family. I've said this before, but I was born premature, like 5 months or something like that, according to my mom and my whole family. And according to them, for the past 30, almost 36 years now, the doctor told my mom to not get used to me the day that I was born because I had still not even had a fully respiratory system developed or anything, And my mom, being from a strong like religious faith with her family, she wrapped me up in a blanket. She started doing whatever she did, and she explains to people. We come from a very indigenous spiritual place in the Dominican Republic, and now here I am about to turn 36, and I'm breathing like deep, holding it, everything I got. I don't know where the lungs came from. So thank you, mom, and I'm grateful for this space this morning. Thank you, Ash.
Wow. Wow. Oh my God, what a story. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. This whole time, too. This whole time, probably for the most part without interruption, you've been breathing for 36 years. Extraordinary. Thank you for bringing that level of awareness into this practice. We're not necessarily awake to on a regular basis that this thing is happening, this thing that's so simple, out, in, out. It's happening all the time. It's happening all day, every day, throughout the day. And without it, we don't have life. We don't have this moment with each other. And, so simple, but so profound. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. All right. Well, thank you, everyone who just shared, Sweetness and Chris, and anyone who was willing to share, who was going to come off mute. Thank you for your willingness too. Um, let's bring up that second slide. So let's get into what it is we're here for today, what we've been exploring over the last 3 sessions, and what we're going to pick up exploring again and again, take a different cut at than we have in previous sessions. So we just keep really kind of building in this exploration. And where we got to the last time we were together was so interesting. So we're going to pick up there and keep deepening it. So we had this question: what is the relationship between grace, community, and communication? I'm going to say that again. We're not going to engage in this right now. We're just reminding ourselves that we did. And then we're going to set it aside and we're going to come back to it in a much more direct way later on. So, what is the relationship between grace, community, and communication? What is the relationship between grace? What is the relationship between grace, community, and communication? All right, we can move to the next slide. And here's what it is we're talking about when we say grace. So I'm going to read this slide and then the 3 slides after that. And then I'm going to ask someone else to come off mute and you read these 4 slides. And again, this is not the truth about grace. I can't say that enough. This is not the truth about grace. Since being here at Wake Up with you and engaging in this dialogue, grace has been opened up for me in ways I've never, I hadn't considered before. The last time we were together, we explored this idea that there's a condition that grace creates. And then at the same time, there's a condition that wants to be created by us for grace to even arise or for us to be able to experience it. There's this reciprocal relationship that we could have with grace, which just is a whole other it's an opening into grace that I wasn't expecting. So this is not the truth. This is a place that we've been looking for. What is it we mean when we talk about grace? What is that quality? What is that experience? So if it's you today who's going to read these slides, get yourself ready. Someone's in here who wants to be the one to read these slides today. So, grace is an experience that spans various cultures and belief systems. It is synonymous with notions of divine mercy. Next slide. It is a quality that embodies elegance, kindness, and forgiveness. Through grace, we free ourselves from attachment and self-deception to embrace profound depths of reality, to soften into what we often shy away from. Grace tenderly opens us to our own experience and our own expansion, touching our challenges, adversities, and victories with its loving presence. Grace works in harmony with our earnest efforts to practice. Through ritual, sacrament, surrender, and discovery, we will access grace together, reflecting and amplifying our collective cultivation of it. Let's go back to the first slide in this series. I think it's 3. Yeah, thank you. Teresa, something to share, or are you the one who'll read the slides with us today?
I'm going to read what you would ask me to read. So,
Thank you.
hmm you ready for me to read?
So ready.
Okay. Grace is an experience that spans various cultures and belief systems. It is synonymous with notions of divine mercy. I like that. Next one. It is a quality that embodies elegance, kindness, and forgiveness. Through grace, we free ourselves from. Oh, hold on. I lost the thing. I'm sorry. I did something. Hold on. I lost. Okay. I'm back. Through grace, we free ourselves from attachments and self deception to embrace profound depths of reality to soften into what we often shy away from. That one's deep. Grace tenderly opens us up. No, grace tenderly opens us to our own experience and our own expansion, touching our challenges, adversities, and victories from its loving presence. Grace works in harmony with our earnest efforts to practice through ritual, sacrament, surrender, and discovery. We will access grace together, reflecting and amplifying our collective cultivation of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Teresa, is there one part in particular that you're struck by in these 4 slides this morning? This morning.
You go back to the one before that one. I think it was either that one or the. Yes, grace tenderly opens us up to our own experience and our own expansion, touching our challenges, adversities, and victories from its loving presence. Yeah, that got to me because it's like, even in the midst of adversity and different challenges, it says that it gives us a victory in its loving presence. So it's like, to me, it just offers a way of looking at people, yourself, and people a different lens of eyes than what I've been looking at. So it's like, because it's saying it's a loving presence, so it doesn't like, no place for like discord, aggravation, stress, or any of those things that might come in when you have an adversity, or even feeling down, because it's a loving. It says, and victories with his loving presence. So it's like, hey, like, I don't know, it's like this thing with grace just took me to a whole nother looking at life. I'm complete.
It is a whole other way to look at life, isn't it? It really is a whole, when you think about over the course of a day, what shows up like a challenge, adversity, or even a victory, the tendency is not to meet it with grace, maybe particularly challenges and adversities. But I know for myself, one of the things I was looking at this morning is expansion can be uncomfortable. And I know for myself, my immediate go-to when I'm expanding is not grace. It's not my immediate, it hasn't been, at least up to this moment, up to this morning, it hasn't been what I immediately go to. What I immediately go to is that experience of discomfort, that experience of fear, that experience of, I don't know if I can do this, because when I did something like this in the past, I failed, and I don't know if I'm going to succeed this time. I have more proof that I'm going to fail than that I'm going to succeed. So for our expansion to find its way in here is, it's moving. It's surprising for me. And I'm gonna read what Rachel wrote in the chat. And Chrissy, I see you coming on video. I'm hoping that means you want to share something too. That would be great. But what I want to point everyone to is this is the third time we're engaging with these words, these very rich words. These words are like an entry point into something. They're like an access themselves into something. And it's the third time we're engaging with them. And if you look, if you have been present, which I know you have been, if you've been present with these words, something different opens up every time we engage with them. Every time we look into them, something different strikes us. Something different about it touches us. Something different about it moves us. So that's a little bit of the idea we're going to be exploring today inside of, if I point back to the first slide, what is the relationship between grace, community, and communication? What is that relationship? So Rachel put in the chat, what comes up for me? There's no room for pride or ego when offering grace. There's no room for pride or ego when offering grace. Yeah, one of the ideas we've been looking at over these 3 sessions is that is what does one have to surrender in order to experience grace? What does one have to give up? What does one have to release in order to experience grace? And pride and ego. Yeah, I think so. I think so. If I look for myself, they're not coming along. They're not in that space of grace with me when I'm surrendered to it. Chrissy, is there something you wanted to share?
Nope, I'm all good. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd love to hear from one more person. What do you hear today? What do you hear today in these words? What strikes you? What's different? What stands out today, maybe that hasn't stood out in the past for you? Sweetness.
Yeah, I'm still trying to connect what this is all about. I must,
Yeah.
yeah, I must admit. However, today, communication stood out for me. That word stood out for me, as it's connected or not, or I don't know, cousin to grace. I don't know, but communication. Because I think about when I'm moving around, and I want to be graceful when I move around. That is a desire of mine. So when I move around, but then I come into people who communicate differently than I do, then I see that that limits, in my mind, it limits my ability to be as graceful as I might want to be. And so I'm learning that as I encounter people who work in stores or different establishments, institutions who don't speak English. Like I was at I was staying in a hotel a couple of weeks ago when I was in New York, and they didn't speak English, and so my ego, Rachel, went to, how you gonna work in a place and can't communicate? And then my desire to show up in a particular way in the world, which is gracefully, got my attention. You
Mm,
you understand what I mean?
I
So
do.
yeah, yeah. So I was the approach is different, right? Because your face can speak. My face can. So I let my face speak a language that they could understand. Yes. So I didn't lick my tongue out them at them. I smiled. So that's a way of communicating and being graceful. So yeah, communication, and that phrase "lost in translation." So
Mhm.
that came up for me today, in regards to this journey that you're taking us on, which I must say I feel a little lost. However, I'm learning. So thank you for letting me share that.
Sweetness, thank you. Actually, can I have a follow-up, a request of you? And then Rachel, I see your hand up. It's perfect. I appreciate what you're sharing. One of the nature of the conversation we're having is one of inquiry. So there's, to some degree, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. I think we sometimes come into spaces of practice or education and we look for an answer, but perhaps the most powerful answer actually is within us. So what you just created is so powerful. It speaks to, where there are areas of life that we do bring into grace. And then there are areas of life where we don't. And we kind of talk about grace like we know what grace is, and we know when we have it and when we don't. And we don't necessarily explore the idea that it's always present, always available to us. And we could tap into it at any point. We could even ourselves be an access point or an opening point or an entry point to grace for others, ourselves. We could actually be that. So when I appreciate that experience of being lost, like what is it that we are looking at? Well, we really are looking at those areas that we don't typically bring into grace. And what would it look like for us to bring those areas into grace? What are those areas that we typically don't bring into grace? And what would it look like for us to bring those areas into grace? Another way to point to what we're engaging in here is we're engaging in what's on these slides. So, beginning with the third slide, can you move back to the third slide? Sweetness, would you read through these four slides? So you yourself can experience actually saying them yourself and see if it stirs anything for you.
Grace is an experience that spans various cultures and belief systems. It is synonymous with notions of divine mercy. It is a quality that embodies elegance, kindness, and forgiveness. Through grace, we free ourselves from attachment and self deception to embrace profound depths of reality, to soften into what we often shy away from. Grace tenderly opens us to our own experience and our own expansion, touching our challenges, adversities, and victories with its loving presence. Grace works in harmony with our earnest efforts to practice through ritual, sacrament, surrender, and discovery. We will access grace together, reflecting and amplifying our collective cultivation of it. Ashe, wow. Mm,
Strike you differently.
you know it did.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that short trip you took me on. I didn't even have to get dressed or comb my hair. That was beautiful. Yeah, thank you. I'm ready for the day now. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetness. Every time I hear it, if I really listen, I think I've heard this passage maybe 60 or 70 times now. Every time I hear it, if I really listen, I hear something different. I notice somewhere new where I have distance between myself and the words. I notice somewhere new where I have something in the way of embodying what I read. I notice something new where I've made a discovery about some aspect of this. Oh yeah, we will access grace together, reflecting and amplifying our collective cultivation of it. I've uh, felt into and experienced into much deeper aspects of that last part of that sentence since being with you all. Oh, oh yeah, it's right here, reflecting and amplifying our collective cultivation of it inside of our cultivation of it together. We reflect each other and we amplify the other person's cultivation of it. We allow it to get bigger. We allow more of the domain of grace to be present between us. So thank you for engaging in that way, sweetness. We can take the slides down. Rachel.
Yeah, good morning, blessings. So from what you said, if you really listen, so I really listen every time it's being read and I take in what I take in. And this time I heard pride and ego needs to be removed, right? And so for me, what I'm learning and what I've learned on my journey is that my pride and ego has destroyed connection. Because when we're operating in our story and our pride and ego, we show up differently. So there's no grace, for me at least, attached when my ego is attached to it, because it's almost like, you know, um, I'm not going to do that, or I'm not going to extend myself, or I'm not going to make that first phone call, or I'm not going to do this. I shouldn't have to, right? The whole should have, I shouldn't have to do anything. Outside of just following our authentic feelings in that moment. I think that is, for me at least, something that I've learned and I'm still learning has to be removed in order for like my authentic self to actually come out. Because if we're extending ourselves, is it for the other person or is it for ourselves? Right. And when I'm extending myself and I'm thinking about somebody, even if we're on bad terms, it's for myself. It is not for the other person. And when it's for the other person, I'm waiting for a response. I'm waiting for I have an expectation attached to it. Right. And that's where then my pride comes in. Oh, they didn't answer my text, or they didn't answer my call. You know what? I'm not going to do that. That's where the pride and ego, and it separates outside of, instead of looking at, everybody goes through life. Everybody has their process. And potentially that person could be going through something in that moment, but because we made it about us, or I made it about me, rather, I made it about me, I'm now separating myself from the true connection that could potentially be created. And I'm complete.
Very powerful, Rachel. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions to let what you're pointing to move us into the next space. So, how does that show up in an area where you want something for yourself and you don't yet have it? Where there's something you want for yourself that you don't yet have. How does that, what you just pointed to, show up?
It's so funny. It's almost like you're in my head, right? And you're like, I'm gonna pull something from you, right? So what you're pulling from me is my inability to ask. I don't know if it's the pride or the ego, but the ask is the challenge, to feel as though I'm burdening somebody with my ask. And no more than and then if I do ask and it's not, and it's received and it's not followed through with integrity, then there's another part of me that shows up, right? I then create another story about a situation. So for me, it's the ask, I think, connected to like not wanting to be a burden, and also not wanting to be forgotten. And that
Mm,
stems from my childhood. I already know that's a clear indication for me, at least.
mm.
And I am complete.
Thank you. Thank you. And last question. What's an example of one place where that's currently the case, where you're withholding an ask? What's something that you want to be asking, but you aren't currently asking?
Yeah, probably to reach out to those that I know that are doing the work that I desire to do.
Hmm.
And injecting myself in a way that I'm involving and saying I know I have a gift
Hmm.
and I want to share it. Am I qualified enough in my head, right? So that's where it shows up for me.
What's the work that you want to do?
Well, the work I'm already doing is kind of aligned with it, but on the level I want to go, right? That's where it becomes a little bit challenging for me. So I want to empower, I want to heal by sharing my stories, my challenges, my victories, my lessons with young women, young mothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, and empower, right? Because that's one of my gifts. I've been through
Mm,
a lot. My pain is my purpose, and if
mm,
I don't if I don't embrace that, then my pain is in vain for me,
mm,
at least. There was a reason I went through everything, and I continue to go through everything that I go through. It's for me to share and throw myself under the bus as many times as I can and rid people of shame and rid people of all of these things that are killing us.
mm.
And I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Rachel, are you in a place where you can come on video? If
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. Just for I'm gonna create something for everyone right now, but just when coming on video, it kind of inside of a dialogue like this, it makes you even more real. So everyone, we're gonna go into breakout rooms. And the question that we are going to answer, it's not a new question. The question we're going to answer is, what do you want that you don't yet have? What do you want that you don't yet have? Laura Clark is like clockwork that Laura arrives at the start of this question. What do you want that you don't yet have? Um, and here's my invitation for you. So we're going to go into breakout rooms and you'll have a chance to both share and listen. And I invite you to explore what the listening to others makes available and what different people's listening has you say.
Mm.
So you're going to go into one breakout room and you're going to say, the invitation is to bring as much of yourself and as much of your wants into grace as you can in these breakout rooms. Give yourself as much room as you can to say what it is that you want. And notice, we'll go in one set and then we'll go in another set. Notice how different things come up to say with different people. When you're in with one group of people, different things will come up to say than when you're with another group of people. So we'll be in these breakout rooms for maybe, I think, 6 minutes. Yeah, we'll be in these breakout rooms for 6 minutes. And in the breakout rooms, what you're sharing is, what do you want that you don't yet have? What do you want that you don't yet have? And you're in groups of 3 and 4. So make sure that people have enough time to share. Make sure everyone has enough time to share. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want that you don't yet have? What do you want that you don't yet have? Give yourself permission to go there. All right, here we go. And then we've left one group in the main room. And that group is Glasman, Laura, Corneli, and Theodora. So you're our main room group, and just give it a couple moments for people to connect to their breakout rooms. So Glasman, are you there? And Laura, are you there as well?
I'm not.
You're not?
No, which room? I didn't see which room to join. Sorry.
No, you're going to be right here in the main room.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
You're going to stay in the main room. Looks like a larger group stayed in the main room. So good. And who else is here? Corneli, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Theodora?
I'm here.
Awesome. Andrea, are you there?
Yes,
Good.
I am.
Excellent.
Good morning.
Excellent.
I'm still a little bit. Good morning. So I'm still a little bit. I'm listening, but
It's not a problem at all. Thank you for your laughter. So those of you who are in the main room, the question is, what do you want that you don't yet have? What do you want right now? What are you wanting in life?
For me, I think I would like a meaningful partner relationship.
Thank you. What would that look like? What would that be like?
I guess someone to I do have a busy and a full life. It's not that I don't, but I think it's someone to share some of the things with. Not necessarily to have to live together, but I guess a good friend, intimate partner. Yeah.
Thank you. Moving. Thank you.
Did everybody leave us?
No, we went into breakout rooms and we kept some people in the main room to have your breakout room here. Thank you. I got that. I got that vision so clearly. Thank you. Laura? Laura, you may still be on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No
I
worries.
just had doubt and getting rid of the monkey mind.
Aha. Say a little bit more about that.
I live in my head. I know I want to get things done, and I keep going over in my head, and I don't get things done, and it's a pattern. Oh, it's a pattern that it's really, I keep observing the pattern, and it's like, it's I'm not able to get over it. It's just difficult for me.
So whatever that would take to actually interrupt that,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you want
Yeah.
to move you um, out of the thinking mind and into the playing field of life.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you. Good. Anything else?
I think that's like indecision
Mm,
and avoidance. Avoidance is a really big thing for me, which
mm,
I think falls into all of this.
mm. You want to give that up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. It's
Ashe.
great. Thank you. Who else is here? What do you want that you don't currently have? Oh, we're going to bring people back from breakout rooms. So let's do that first. Welcome back. Welcome back from your breakout rooms. Welcome back. All right. It is always really nice to see your faces when you come out of breakout rooms. I'd like to hear from one person. What did you notice? What did you notice about what there was to say in that breakout room? What did you notice about what you actually had to say in that breakout room?
I noticed that in the previous session we had, I wanted something. This time I want to have an experience.
Isn't it so interesting? Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. We're gonna send you back into breakout rooms with a different group so you can see what do you have to say with a different group? What do you have to say when you're with a different group of people? What do you want now? How does it change? Isn't that interesting how it changes? Um, all right, and before we do, it's 8 a.m. somewhere in the world. It's 7 a.m. where I am, but it's 8 a.m. somewhere in the world. So if you're someone for whom now that it's 8, you need to transition to work, you need to start to get ready for your work day or actually start your work day, and you're going to be signing off. Thank you so much for being with us. It was just a real pleasure to have you. Pleasure to have you, whether you shared or you didn't share, whether you heard something new or you heard something that's a reminder of something you already practice, we'll take it. We'll take it. Thank you for being here and for contributing to this space and this community. Really, really great to be with you. And I believe that some information of mine will go into the chat now, so you can take that. You can, yes, it has my information and information about Wake Up Everybody has gone into the chat, and I echo what Teresa said. Thank you, everyone that came to our celebration. Thank you. Yes, exactly as you said it. So we're exploring, what do you want that you don't yet have? We're kind of holding two ideas right now. Okay, so I'm just going to get us present to the two ideas we're holding in the space, and then we're going to go back into breakout rooms. So this idea, what do I want that I don't yet have? What do I want that I don't yet have? And I'm exploring, can I allow myself to open up what I want a little bit? Do I notice that when I'm engaging with different people, I want different things? What if I could kind of surrender to whatever that is, that space between us that has me say something different when I'm with you than when I'm with you? What is that? It's just, and trust it and explore it. And then we're holding this other idea, which you may start to see some connection between the two. What is the relationship between grace, community, and communication? What is the relationship between grace, community, and communication? And here we go. We're going to go into another breakout room. And in our other breakout room, we are sharing, what do you want that you don't already have? Just give me one moment to pull some people into the main room so that we have some folks in the main room who can share. What do you want that you don't already have? What do you want that you don't already have? All right, here we go. And some folks are staying in the main room. Sweetness, Rachel, I think a couple of other people will remain in the main room here. Let's give it a second for folks to kind of land where they're going. What do you want that you don't already have? What do you want that you don't already have? All right. I think we have Rachel, Sweetness in the room. I invite the team too to share in this as well. Yeah, Sweetness.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you want that you don't already have?
Paid for property? I don't know. I don't know.
Great. Excellent. Anything else?
Nope.
Nothing else.
Well, I shared in the other, space with a really sweet person that I don't have a male companion who adores me and who understands and sees my worth and wants only what's best for me. I've experienced that in life, and so I want to continue that experience. Yes.
Thank you. Good. Anything else here while you're on a roll?
I'm not on a roll. You snatching this stuff from me. No, those are the things, because I shared before that I wrote a piece. I write, and I wrote a piece, and it was about my father. What is it that I'm thinking I'm missing that's making me so angry about him not being there when I was a child? And so, settling that discord inside of myself with him, that's what the question was. What is it that you want that you don't have? What is it? What is it that you want that you think, you've missed or can get back? And then, Spirit clearly told me, there's nothing about yesterday can you change. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So with moving forward, what is it that you want that you don't already have? So we have surrogate people in our lives when our mothers and fathers don't show up in the way that's really nurturing. So, and I had that. So I had to take a look at that. So yeah, for today, I'm my desire is to have a male companion who understands my worth and pours into me and allows me to pour back into him, and paid for property. Yes. Mhm.
Can I ask you a question about what you shared?
I can't stop you. You know I can't.
Thank you. If that were to be resolved, like complete, with your father, if that were to be complete, like it wasn't something you needed to engage in anymore. It wasn't something you needed to ask yourself anymore. You didn't need to look at it any further. It was actually complete, like in a way where the book was closed and it was filed back onto the shelf, and
Yeah.
then that's where it was. Is that something that you you want on some level?
Oh, absolutely. Just while you were speaking, I was thinking about grace being magnified. Because what would that look like? That's what I thought you was gonna say. I'm all up in your head. I don't even want to be in my head. But no, what would that look like? So it would look like grace personified to me, and me actually 10 pounds lighter. Walking around available. That's something else I like. I desire to be available to people. When you go out in public, I want to be available to them, whatever they need. Help them with their bag in the car as an older person, or just say hello to another person that might be what they need. I like that, to be available. So if I'm not in my stuff, I'm more available to be for people in public, and that's something that I noticed that I love. I love that, to be present when I park my car and get out my car and I watch what's around me. And yeah.
Your whole demeanor as you start to speak about those things kind of shifts. Your space kind of shifts. There's this like participatory, I'm in it way of being that starts to emerge. And what I love that I noticed about everything you just said is they're all things you have complete say over. We don't have a say over so many things, but
Right.
who we are as we greet the world, we have absolute say over. And as we greet our own traumas and challenges and incompletions, we don't get to change how it happened to get us here, but we get to say, who we'll be in the face of them now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, everyone's coming back from
Well, I
breakout
thought
rooms.
Rachel was here. Where's my big sister? She's not here?
She's here.
I'm here, but I learned something from you by listening, so I'm grateful.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for this next round.
It was different from the first round, wasn't it?
It was
So someone come off mute and share what did you get in that round? What was different in that round?
You know, great morning, everyone. I still sung all it because today's my laying day, so pardon me. This is Andrea.
Thank you.
Wow, this whole topic is deep. It just had me sucked in from day one. But I love what sweetness how she packages things. And to you, Miss Ash, I also realize your purposefulness, I guess, in how you do things. And it just brings out a different layer of energy as you shift a different set of energy into the room. So as you shift out and shift in, so does the energy shift. And that is something I've been observing a lot in life, especially recently, when you go into a space, taking notice of that. Yeah. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's my 2 cents.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like I'm listening to myself, very, very sensitive and aware to what's the space in here and what listening, what speaking would move it in what way. Thank you for that contribution. What else, Teresa? Your hand is up. Yes. What did you notice?
I said this time is that I want a supernatural, loving, graceful relationship with myself. And so it just shifted when I first said, and it was like so powerful because I was in a room with Miss M. I can't say her name is Manja, something like that, but she had different answers. We both had different answers, and we were just having a good time talking. But her word was trust, and so I felt like having like the loving, graceful relationship will bring. I said I said that would fall on that would fall on what I said too. But it was like when you trust yourself, when you're operating in love and a graceful place with yourself, then trust and everything else just come like whatever you need just flows in because you have that relationship with yourself that it just shifts how you see yourself. And it was like, wow, I was like, I cannot believe it. And I was in the room with Chris earlier. And it was like, it was just so powerful just to experience because sometimes we're giving other folks grace, but we don't really give ourselves grace. We so hard on ourselves about, and somebody else done told, well, you should do this and you should do that. And that was one thing I said. I said to Miss M, I was like, well, what if, what you did was just what you were supposed to be doing, but because we was told that was the wrong thing to do or how to show up for ourselves, like we don't show up how we supposed to be. And so I'm just learning so much about myself. It was like being this age and what I've experienced in the last, like couple of years has been some of the most profound and awesome experience. Even though sometimes it's been sad, but I'm still been able to give myself grace and still, just be who God has me to be. And it's just a beautiful thing, and I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm thankful. It was like I didn't even think I was gonna wake up this morning this early, but Spirit's like, no, you need to be here, and I'm so grateful that I had this opportunity. I thank you, Ash. It's like you have been missing. It's like you on a whole nother level, That's Spirit. It's like it's a whole nother level. Like you are another level. Period. So thank you for allowing Spirit to guide and direct you to be who you are.
Mm. And Teresa, thank you. Very, very, very generous of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And oh God, it's like even just allowing myself to say what I want is an extraordinary relationship with myself. The willingness to say it out loud is so deeply healing. And then here we are with one another, and we go into these breakout rooms and we find something completely different to say with each person we're with as we kind of surrender to the space with each other. Thank you, Teresa, so much. Michelle, see your hand up.
Yes, Grand Rising family. In this breakout room, I found that it went to a deeper level, not so much as a wanting as a material thing, but as or an experience. But it went more to a core level
Mm,
of a way of being.
mm,
Who do we need to be?
mm,
A way of being, a transformative space, a growth space. We decide to grow into this becoming of. For me, it's to embrace courage. I want to be courageous
mm,
enough
mm,
to speak my truth. And then what was underlying that was it seems like everything comes back to worth or worthiness somehow. But also the other sisters, we were in alignment. We all had it was a similar theme, uh, courage, courageousness, just being, and to let go of the judgment that stands in the way of us. Confidence, similar theme. We had a similar theme, and the underlying core issue, we were able to sort of tap into that
mm,
stands in the way of us having, being, doing what it is we desire.
mm,
I'm complete.
mm. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. I love that you said those three words at the very end there. I'll create this with everybody quickly, like just a quick offer to you. We human beings have gotten into this way of thinking that what it takes to um, be a way I want to be is that first I have to have certain things, and then I can once I have the things that I want, then I can do the things that I want, then I can be the way that I want. One of the easiest examples of this is once I have the money, then I can do the vacation or I can do the passion project, then I can be happy. And when you flip that, what happens is really very powerful. If I start with who I'm being, and who I'm being is courageous, my actions then become a product of courageousness. And inside of being and acting from courage, I have a totally different set of results. And we typically have it be the other way around. But I wasn't planning to say that. But then when you said what you did, Michelle, it's like just right there. We tend to relate to it the opposite way. But when we're being in a way that's like we're being stingy, that gives us particular, or we're being righteous, that gives us particular actions. That way of being gives us particular actions, which gives us particular results, and often not favorable, often. So didn't want to miss that opportunity. Wow, everyone, amazing work in the breakout rooms. I'd like to pull up a slide, and the slide that I'd like to pull up is not the one that's next in the deck. It's the one with all the definitions on it. It's going to be the very last slide that I provided. Can we pull up that slide? So here we're going to start to move ourselves toward completion. There's a lot of text on this slide. So this is what you're looking at is the etymology of the words grace, community, and communication. And I just invite you to explore these three. We don't have a ton of time, but just read the slide, maybe read the summary of each one, and at the same time, reflect on your experience in these breakout rooms, and see, like, what is there to discover about the relationship here? What is this relationship here with grace, community, and communication? It's got to be something. I mean, when I go into these breakout rooms, I have something completely different to say depending on who I'm with. And when I allow myself to go into different spaces, different experiences, communications arise for me. So I'll be quiet now, let you read this.
Do you want someone to read?
I'd like everyone to read to yourselves.
Oh,
I
okay.
think there's just far too much on this slide to ask somebody to read.
I heard the
But
quiet.
I can't see it.
because it's so small.
It's too light and I'm driving.
Too light. Okay, let me read some of this. And I'd like to hear what other people are struck by, anyone who can see it. So a summary of the so there's grace, and the root of the word grace. Okay, yes, let me read the whole thing. So I'll read it quickly. Grace, origin, Middle English from Old French grace, via Latin gratia, meaning favor, esteem, kindness. Its Latin root means pleasing or thankful. The original meanings of grace were favor, goodwill, gratitude, charm, divine favor. And in spiritual and religious use, grace came to mean the unmerited favor or love of God toward humans. So, summary of grace began as a term for favor or kindness, especially that which is freely given, and evolved to include beauty, elegance, and other spiritual blessings. Then community, the various meanings are fellowship, community of relations or feelings. Its Latin root is common, shared by all or many. It also means bound. It says bound under obligation. Original meaning is a body of people associated by shared ownership, responsibility, or culture. The summary is community originally described a group bonded by shared duties or resources, what is held in common. And then communication. So communication means sharing, imparting, to share or to make common, public, shared. Its original meanings, the act of imparting, sharing ideas, or making something mutual. Summary is communication comes from the idea of making something common between people, sharing thought, feeling, or information. So the last thing I'll say about this what strikes me about this morning in this is this grace being a term for favor or kindness, especially that which is freely given, as you gave one another today throughout the whole session and gave me. Thank you. And then community describes a group bonded by shared duties or resources, a group that's bonded by what we hold in common. And then communication is actually the act of making something common, again, as you did in your breakout rooms. You made things common. You heard what someone else wants and you created it for yourself. It's just really very powerful. The work that you did, you did all of the interesting work this morning. So here's what I'd like to, we can take that slide down for now. What I'd like to have happen is everyone in chat, everyone, please type, what are you walking away with today? What are you walking away with today? What are you walking away with? As you leave this morning's session, what are you taking with you that you didn't have or that was new or that you discovered before you came in? Love, kindness, and grace. I see some. Freedom of expression. Thank you. A better step forward. Thank you. Giving myself grace isn't just for me. It will impact the community around me too. Thank you. Thank you. What I love and appreciate you all for so much is that you not only engaged with the material, but if you notice, many of you actually began to embody the material inside of the way that you engaged today, like Michelle was pointing to, through your being. So thank you. Yes. What I desire already is. I simply have to be. Yes. I am not alone. Everything I seek is inside of me. I'm walking away with everything I need. Thank you. All right. Okay, that's our session today. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I think this is where I begin to let you know about the offer I have. Is that right? Am I on track?
Let me pull that up for you.
Thank you. Thank you. So so this work for me, it comes from the world of yoga. It comes from the world of yoga philosophy and the deep, deep, deep spiritual teachings that are embedded in yoga. And our company, we offer a monthly membership that involves a gentle yoga class, which I teach, a yoga nidra deep relaxation practice, which I deliver, a very, very deeply healing breath work practice every Saturday morning, and a meditation every Sunday morning. And those are weekly offerings. They're available every week. And that is typically $150 a month. But for Woo and only for this community, we're offering the first year for $15 off every month. So there's a link that's in the chat, and your registration for that also includes 4 quarterly cleanses every quarter, and it includes an offer to attend inquiries just like this one into opening a world of grace. And if you have interest in working together, you have interest in what that might look like. I mean, I do all kinds of things. I have private clients, I take on one-on-one clients in the world of yoga therapy. There's a link to schedule a call with me in the chat. And if you're curious and you want to have a conversation, I invite you to schedule with me in just have a conversation with me, and let's look and see what it could look like to work together. Thank you.
Thank you. And then outside of the link, do you want to let them know how best to contact you?
Yes, and you can feel free to text me there. That's our Facebook and Instagram page. Our website will let you know more about everything that we do, which is really expansive. You can follow us on Instagram, and you can feel free to email or text me at any time.
Great, thank you. Thank you for an amazing session. I know you were keeping your eye on the chat, but I do just want to call out, I think you skipped over where people were giving you love. So I just wanted to read out where Michelle had said, "I appreciate this session greatly. Thank you, Astra, and everyone present." Chrissy also said that you are a good conductor of energy. I just wanted to make sure that those were brought into this space because I feel the same. I always come in with holding my breath, and I think this, like the way you spoke through everything, I think our community always greatly needs these, a moment to decompress, especially when we have heavier sessions. It's nice to have one where we can kind of reflect and what do we need? How can we get there? Who do we want to be? So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So we've got our love offerings and donations. I always like to steal from Stacy that says giving is receiving. So we have the Zellen Quick Pay for Spirit of Woman Leadership, SOW Leadership Development at gmail.com, and the Cash App, $ Spirit of a Woman. Make sure you use the code 1348 ASO so we know that you were coming from this meeting. Everybody here is volunteer. Ash volunteers her time, and then these special offers as well. These are all volunteer things. So these are just to keep the platform running. Giving is receiving because we can keep going on these Zooms. We can do the automated text, so we can stay in community. I mean, this was only going to be a short little thing during COVID, and we just celebrated 5 years. So we love that the family is able to keep us up and running, and we're able to continue to meet. I thank everybody because I wouldn't have been here 5 years ago. I just started a few months ago. So thank you to everybody that has supported this and continues to support it. Make sure you come back tomorrow. We've got Sam talking about emancipate yourself from mental slavery. He also had a 3-part series. Tomorrow is the 3rd part. So if you weren't able to make those first 2, you can check out the Facebook streams. Those are still up. Or you can check out part 3 and go back and watch. So make sure to come join us for that. And then we've got Marilyn Perez doing the Go Fudge Yourself. So make sure you tune back in Wednesday and Thursday to catch some more awesome facilitators. We've also got the Speak, Move, Change event for this year coming up, the Reproductive Freedom Train, an Afro-futuristic journey to liberation. That's going to be April 25th and 26th, both on Zoom. The Freedom Train is going to be modeled after the Underground Railroad. It's going to bring us to places around the nation that are safe spaces for maternal health. You know, where can you give birth safely? And also the things that support giving healthy births. We've got farms included. How do we nourish ourselves to ensure that we're healthy enough to go through that process? Some amazing work has been done for this. I've seen the trailer. It looks really cool. So if you are able, there's a bit.ly there that you can register or scan the QR code so that you get the link to visit. We've also got Postpartum Awareness Week. This is going to be a week-long programming, kind of on the same topic, you know, Black maternal health. So come out. This is a primarily virtual event, but there is one day in person. It'll be hybrid. So if you want to join on Zoom, that's fine too. The bit.ly is in the chat. Otherwise, you can scan the QR code. Each day will be a different topic. So try to come out for as many as you can, or see if one speaks true to you and come visit. And we just want to thank all the Woo Nation members. I don't know if I saw any new names in here today, but thank you. If you are new and I just missed you, we love when we have new participants. If you popped in today, it was a good one. Hope you got some energy out of this, and try to invite some more people so we can have, you know, bigger breakout groups. We can have bigger participation, and we can all feed off that energy. So thank you for coming and inviting your friends. And then this is our schedule. Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday are our 90-minute sessions, a little bit longer. They go a little bit deeper. And then Monday and Wednesday are 30-minute little shorter segments. We've got the Woo Nation automated texting. Just text Woo Nation to 74121. Sorry, I cut that number off. And that'll give you notifications when we're going live. And then we also stream live to Facebook. So if you're on the move, can't join Zoom, you're more than welcome to join us on the Facebook stream. Remember to stay in touch. You can register. The link will be in the chat, the bit.ly. We also have a Facebook community, both a public and a private one. So make sure you look those up and join us. We'll post ahead of time who you can look out for facilitators. We've also got an Instagram at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. We've got the YouTube, which I'm working on. This recording will go on YouTube right after this session. So if you've got facilitators from 2020 you want to go check in on, if you want to see Chantel facilitate, it might have been a while. She's on there, so go check her out. And then we've also got the email info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. If you're interested in volunteering, joining the admin team, or have any questions, you can reach out to us there. So at this time, I'm going to take this down, move the spotlight, and I invite everybody to come off mute. If you can come off or come on camera, and let's give Ash her love shower for today's session.
Great session.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, family.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
It was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Astronaut.
Thank you,
Thank
Ash,
you.
for the
The
wonderful
ability
job
to
that you're
punt.
doing.
Have a
I'm
great
ready
Really
for
day,
amazing.
everyone.
bed.
No,
Amazing
guys,
sharing.
no.
Amazing.
Vibrations
One
here.
love.
Thank you so
Beautiful,
much for
Ash.
being
kind,
accommodating. Thank you.
amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you, family. This is so powerful. I love y'all.
Thank
Mwah.
you, everyone. Thank you,
Hugs
everyone.
and kisses.
Thank you. Ashe.
Love y'all. Peace and
Rachel, wow,
blessing,
you
family.
did your hair's nice. Wow. He was working out all morning.
Beautiful. Love y'all. Have a great day. Peace
Ashe,
and blessing.
everyone.
Thank you.
Ashe.